year. So staff is gearing up for that effort. The Council of Governments is a bicycle-friendly community. Bicycle-friendly business. So I encourage municipalities to pursue that as well as businesses if you have the time. You can talk to me about that. For May, we had a lot of help from our municipalities and from our other stakeholders, and I just wanted to list a couple things. Some are still going on now. We have some self-paced bicycle activities. So if you go to the Center Region Bike Map, we have Bike Bingo, a bike scavenger hunt, and that's self-paced. You can do it and submit it to us, and your name can basically put in the hat for a gift card. All of the municipalities in the Center Region provided a Bike Month resolution recognizing Bike to Work Week and Bike to Work Day. I do appreciate that. Last Friday was Bike to Work Day. Did anyone do that? I did. Anyway, we were able to hold, we're going to hold two classes this month. One is with the help of Center Region Parks. They advertised that in their active guide. That was held last week, Virtual Biking 101. And then the last day of May, we are doing biking in the Center Region with Penn State at the Bike Den. That is in person. I would encourage any and all of you to attend. The Bike Den is a great facility, and they really want people to come check it out and see what they can offer to the community as a whole. I have to thank the Schlow Library for their story time on May 13th. I was really happy that they were able to fit that in their schedule. I was a little tight on my part getting the message to them. But Center Region Parks and Rec also did a Little Striders class. And we, as the planning office, did not have to do anything in advertising that. That filled up really, really fast. So that was pretty amazing. A couple other things that we worry about during May is being safe when you're riding a bike. Of course, that goes all year. But I just want to remind people that are riding that you should not wear headphones. They are distracting. You can't always know what's around you and your environment. And earbuds, you can only wear one, and it can only be for communication. So keep that in mind when you ride your bike. Also, we have updated our bike facilities map that can be found on our webpage as well. And in the coming year, many of you already know this, I am working on the countywide active transportation plan, so we're going beyond the region boundaries to have a countywide plan. That really has to be done next spring, so I'm going to be very busy, as well as the other two items that I previously mentioned. The Center Region Silver designation has to be renewed, and the COG bicycle-friendly business has to be renewed next summer as well. Did you have any questions?
What's your relationship to the ribbon cutting over the weekend for the bike trail system at the Calvary complex?
I was just a guest.
Pardon?
I was there, but I was just a guest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was there any relationship between what you were doing and what they designed, or the whole?
No, that was taken care of by Calvary with their partners.
That's
They have quite a
operation,
few
then.
partners. I think Mr. Lord was there.
Oh, yeah.
And
Okay.
we are working with those stakeholders to engage them as part of the active transportation plan.
Looks like an interesting.
It looks very fun.
Great, yeah. You ride your bike?
So you did?
Oh, my email is amessner, MESSNER, @crcog.net. And one last thing, there are a couple things outside in the lobby if you would like to take them. A couple stickers. State College Borough helped us out with a couple League of American Cyclists brochures. And we also have a May is Bike Month calendar there for your use.
Signs that say
you have to have a 4-foot distance between the bike and people and their cars. But I think that education also has to go to the cyclists, because many streets there isn't 4 feet available unless you see unless the bike rider actually makes it happen. And so I think it's a two-pronged approach that we have to take.
Absolutely, and I sit at the meetings for Center Bike, and I will pass that message along.
Questions? Comments?
I'll just make a quick note that I think Ann's been doing a super job. She mentioned her predecessor, but Ann started, about 8 months ago?
Yes.
And has been doing a super job and has been working, as she noted, to form partnerships with the library and with Center Region Parks and Recreation. So we're doing a lot of collaboration. And Elliot, I was out bicycling last weekend and told Ann how much safer I felt, because people were paying attention, having seen those signs, and giving a lot more distance and care and awareness for the cyclists. So hope it's every month of the year, not just May. Thanks, Ann.
Thank you. I should mention PennDOT was very gracious in putting those messages on their signboards. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next up is SCLO Center Region Library.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. I'm Lisa Reeves Collins, and I'm the director at SCLO Center Region Library. And I am thrilled tonight to have with us Paula Bannon. Paula is our head of children's services at SCLO Library. And I know that many of you know she and her staff just work tirelessly to really make sure that every kiddo that walks in the library is welcome, every family is welcome. And she's going to talk to you tonight a little bit about summer reading program, and she's brought an amazing prop with her as well. But please join me in welcoming Paula Bannon.
Hi everyone. I have a little slideshow to share with you tonight. Let me share my screen. Aw. There we go. Okay. All right. So, good evening, everyone. Thanks for the opportunity to speak to you all tonight about our summer reading program at SCLO Library. And I brought a friend with me tonight to show off as a sneak preview as one of our fabulous summer reading prizes that was donated by the community. So this year's theme is All Together Now. You can see on the screen there, that's the cover of our calendars, which just arrived in print form at the library today, so you can stop down and get one. Also, I wanted to point out that on the table over there are little handouts. That's our summer reading handout that went out to all of the kids in the schools in K-5 and is going out this week. So if you're interested, take one home and check it out. So this year, our theme is All Together Now. And we're celebrating kindness, teamwork, cooperation, and community. Registration for the summer reading program actually opened last Monday, and as of this afternoon, we had 21 babies and toddlers, 264 kids ages 3 to 12, 52 teens and 83 adults have registered for the Summer Reading Challenge. And everyone can start logging their reading on June 1st. And I should highlight here that grown-ups can sign up for summer reading. There is an adult summer reading program, and there are prizes for grown-ups too. All right. So we are busy planning our summer reading kickoff for Saturday, June 10th, with having activity stations and face painting, as well as a reptile show at 10:30 in the morning. Jesse from Forgotten Friend Reptile Sanctuary will be here with a wonderful set of reptiles to show off. After our kickoff, we have lots of other fun events planned, including the return of our popular Read It, Watch It movie series, where we show free movies for kids every Wednesday at noon at the State Theater. We also will be having a visit from Ryan the Bugman and a forensic science program where kids get to solve a mystery based on forensic science. They'll also have a chance to dig up real dinosaur bones in our dinosaur expedition adventure, as well as learn all about what it's like to become a veterinarian. They'll also get to watch a magic show with Randy Shine and learn how to drum, plus much, much more. Now, once again, we will be providing free lunch for kids ages 0 to 18 every Tuesday from 11:30 to 12:30 in our community room. The free lunch is actually provided by the YMCA. They make the lunches and bring them to us so that we can serve them. So I want to just make a huge shout out to them as well. They make that possible. And we're thrilled to be able to bring the Bright Star Touring Company to SCLO and also the SCASD Champs Camp this summer in July to bring a great adventure, Operation Kindness, a Captain Friendship adventure to us. And all of these events are happening on top of the reading part of the summer reading adventure. So this summer, and many of you know that I love to talk about our summer reading program, but I'm also here to remind you of the real reason that we do summer reading. And the easy answer, of course, is that this is SCLO's time to shine for the elementary school students. We do activities with them during the school year, but summer is where we become a main hub of programs and activities that they can enjoy. In fact, I was the children's librarian on duty at SCLO this weekend, and we had tons of kids coming in and saying, I need to find some books, because now the school district's libraries are shutting down for the summer and trying to get all of the books back. They can no longer check things out from their school libraries, so they're coming to us. But the biggest thing, the reason that we do summer reading, is to help kids avoid the summer slide. If kids don't continue to read and learn over the summer, they will lose a good portion of what they learned over the school year. Several studies have shown that teachers often spend a good part of the first months of the school year reteaching things that kids learned during the previous school year. So we are here to help them continue that learning over the summer. Plus, summer offers children a chance to explore subjects that they themselves are passionate about, both through books and by attending library programs that teach about STEM, music, the performing arts, and more. Our summer reading program has 3 parts for kids. We have a daily reading part, which encourages kids to read at least 20 minutes every day, which is the same amount of time that teachers throughout our school district recommend for their readers as well. And since reading every day is key, our program also rewards kids for reading every day for 3 weeks in a row. Our Summer Quest helps kids branch out and read different kinds of books. We have 10 different genres that we encourage them to read over the summer. And if they complete the entire Summer Quest, every kid that completes that gets a prize book to take home that they get to pick from the library. And our team at SCLO is ready to make recommendations based on books that are appropriate for each child. The third part of our program are weekly pop-up challenges, and they only appear for 1 week during the summer to help get kids engaged every single week through our summer reading program with surprise challenges. Now, one question that we get every year, but even more so every year, is how much does it cost to participate? And I'm always proud to say that every single family can participate for free. Thanks to our wonderful community partners, prize donations from local businesses, and support from our municipalities and their elected officials, we can offer this program to families in a year when free is especially appreciated. This program would not be possible without our community. Now, why are prizes important? Because some kids, and let's be honest, teens and adults, need a little extra push to get them reading, like this awesome unicorn. Now, I'll leave you with a short story. A few years ago, my coworker and I were out at a school doing a summer reading presentation. And the year before, we had carried around a giant dragon to show to the kids. And a little boy came up to me after the program, and he said to me, you know, I didn't like reading before, but I really wanted that dragon last year, and so I read every single day last summer. And I didn't win the dragon, but now I really, really love reading. And right there, that is why we do summer reading. Any questions? Yes.
So are adults eligible to win the blue unicorn?
So this blue unicorn, thank you for asking, is for our ages 3 to 12 program, but there's lots of other lovely prizes as well for the grown-ups.
Too late.
Somehow I thought. Thank you. It sounds great.
Yes,
Hi,
ma'am.
Paula.
Hi,
It's
ma'am.
nice to see you. question. We have families that have other family members coming in that have young children. I know you're saying all summer. Are the gifts that the child has to wait till the end of the summer to receive, or can we supply gifts for them if they do 1 week?
So we have 5 main prize drawings over the summer, pretty much every other week during the summer that the tickets go in that are our random prize drawings. But if they do the Summer Quest program where they read the different genres, that's a guaranteed book prize, so they could potentially do that. And if they're here on a prize drawing week, that would just depend.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Any other questions?
Lisa, though,
Oh, sure.
you want to share a little bit of the success you had with Senator Gibbs last week?
Absolutely.
It needs to be reinforced.
Absolutely. So one of the reasons why we can do these type of programs is because we have so many individuals in our community that are really making small donations and some large donations, but lots and lots of people making a donation and saying that the library is really important to them. And in Senator Gibbs, we were absolutely thrilled to be at the very top of the leaderboard for the number of individual donations, which was just absolutely incredible. So very, very exciting. And I think it really shows the community loves their library. And I think one of the big things that they do love is the children's department and the children's programs there.
Thanks, Lisa.
Any other questions, comments? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
So we'll move on to authority board and committee reports. I guess I'm first up. I don't have much to add to what's already in the agenda, except that, and help me with this, Eric, if you will. We had a recommendation to forward to the general forum on prioritization of the Hess softball complex project. And did we decide not to bring that forward to the general forum? Is that my understanding correct?
The recommendation was discussed by the Finance and Facilities Committee and then discussed at length by the Executive Committee, but it was clear to the Executive Committee that staff, both finance staff and myself, and the agency are working to incorporate the intent of that recommendation in the revised capital improvement program, which will be presented to the Joint Facility and Finance Committee when it meets next month. So that recommendation was already in the process of being implemented, and so the Executive Committee felt that didn't need to come forward then.
That's what I recall now. Thank you. The next committee report is finance.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. I don't have anything to add to the summary that's included in your agenda, unless there are any questions.
Any questions? Next up is Human Resources Committee.
I have nothing to add, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Parks Capital Committee. I have a note here that it did not meet. Okay, Public Safety Committee.
The only thing I have to add is a few things added from Sean's report. One of the things at our committee, they talked about sponsoring EMS students for training. We also talked about if our municipalities would sponsor a student, maybe we can get more volunteers to, come and work for LifeLink. And especially the telling point is if we can get our own students from our municipalities to join, that's a plus. And because I know a lot of us at our different townships donate to LifeLink. If we can put in that donation to sponsor a student, that would help them bring up their volunteer status. That was one thing. Sean, am I correct on this? All right. The other thing in my report, I know we talked about, is called TIMS and CONTOMS. TIMS stands for Technical Emergency Medical support. And the CONTOMS is counter narcotics, terrorism operation medical support. I know sometimes we put in our reports and we don't know what they mean. So that's one of the things in my report. I needed to make sure that everyone understood what that was. We also are going to be losing, I think we've already lost the Dr. Cliff Neal from Mount Nittany, and his replacement. And we're asking that if they can find the time, they come and introduce themselves to the general forum. His replacement is Dr. Rachel Polinsky. I got that right? We're going to invite her to come and just meet us. Dr. Neal worked very closely with COG, keeping us abreast of what was going on during COVID, and he's done an outstanding job. So as his replacement coming here, we would like to invite her. The other thing I want to touch on, and I know I brought it up before, sinkholes. As I presented to this committee, I've asked that each one check your homeowner's insurance, because at Patton, the sinkhole that we experienced in Patton Township was a wake-up call for all of us as elected officials. If you're a homeowner, please check your homeowner's insurance. 98% of those homeowners did not have the rider. And what I'm here doing research on, there's only certain insurance companies that will back it. And one of them is Nationwide. And we have a Nationwide representative right here in State College. And they're called the Happy Valley Insurance. If you want the number, it's 814-238-6038. The next one was State Farm. And for farmers insurance, it is an attachment to your homeowner's insurance. Asked about it. I'm telling you, it's been a true education. We still have six families that are not in their homes since Christmas. To each and every person, sinkhole is starting to get traction. I'm telling you, magazine from our PSAP conference that came out had sinkhole on the cover. Well, guess what? Patton Township is in the middle of this. So this is important, guys and ladies. Sinkhole is an education to all of us. It's expensive, and it affects lives. And because 98% did not have insurance, that subsidence, ground subsidence, which is the sinkhole rider, check your insurance. That's all I ask. Check your insurance. Because when it hits, it's going to be very expensive to get you back in your homes and to get you help. And I want to continue to thank Representative Conklin for his effort, and the governor, because without them taking a look and moving forward on this, we wouldn't have got the 180,000, and we still need more. So to my colleagues, thank you. And I hope, this information will help each and every one of you as you help your constituents in your municipalities. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I wanted to make a comment with regard to the earlier presentation on EMS service. I wanted to point out that Port Matilda EMS serves 4 other municipalities in addition to the ones that were listed. I understand the ones that are listed are part of the Center Region, but there's also Taylor, Worth, Houston, townships and Port Matilda Borough. The other thing I wanted to point out was in terms of training, there are 5 EMTs currently in training. The municipalities did provide the cost for the training for 3 people, and 2 families donated funds for 2 of the EMTs for training. So that training, training dollars were provided. One thing I wanted to point out was when the issue first became apparent to us, we immediately, the 5 municipalities in the Upper Baltic-Halfmoon Cog immediately stepped into action and began increasing funding using unencumbered funds, increasing the frequency of we made payments earlier than we would normally make them. And we also encouraged, let's use that word, encouraged, the EMS to send out their memberships, which finally got sent out in February. Since then, the response has been more, I think, significantly more than they ever expected. I think it kind of got off to a bad start with an announcement of a closure. That, I think, set things back. But when people finally understood the nature of the problem, finally understood, that there are no good alternatives to maintaining the EMS, that, we needed to all pitch in together and address the issue. And for the first time this year, the EMS, they have a new board now, and they have I believe they have a new chairman of the board. I saw something to that effect today. They are going to be bringing to us a budget, to all the municipalities, a budget, which we will then be able to appropriate for that budget for the coming year. To date, funding levels are sufficient, and they're actually, we go from near the precipice to they're working, they're funded, and they will continue to be funded. So I just wanted to make mention of those things. We did, Port Matilda EMS did also get a $150,000 grant from the state. So all these things went together to create a viable situation for the EMS. And they also approved an increase in the hourly rate for EMTs.
I know when Scott came to the public safety meeting, they hadn't voted on the board of directors as of yet. We were waiting to hear what the response was. But also to thank all the municipalities that heard the cry and stepped up. Each and every municipality at this table stepped up to help.
Help what?
The LifeLink and at Port Matilda, I'm sorry. When that call went out, each and every municipality was talking. We all stepped up. How can we help? So I've got to give credit to Sean for bringing it to us and keeping us abreast on working together. Without us all working together, this will not, cannot, and will not fail if we all work together. So I want to thank Sean especially, and to all the, because they talked about individuals stepping up. They talked about businesses stepping up in Port Matilda. And when they heard how people just opened their pocketbooks and their pockets to say, this will not fail. So to all and each and every one that stepped up and heard the call, we say thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments?
A couple questions. So, I'm not sure to whom direct this. At what age do students have to be to take the training? Or what defines a student, beginning and whatever?
Yeah, so the EMT programs, sometimes they're run through high school programs.
Okay.
Most of our EMTs are usually 18 years old, depending on where they're coming to us for this community. But they can start earlier, and depending on where the programs are offered, whether they are offered through their high schools or the CPI and those different things. So you can enter into that program at I think it's as young as 16.
Okay, great, thank you.
I think
And I-
also, at the report, there was, Scott talked about an individual who was a minor, and she is working diligently for her training, and the only thing she couldn't do was drive an ambulance, but she is working at the facility faithfully, so.
I just, oh, I have one, did you want to talk about the EMT?
Ask John a question.
Yeah. Yeah, go
Is the state high school emergency program, or whatever they call it, still operating?
No.
Because when they pulled out of CPI and started their own program, for a while they did have a program here.
They did, they're no longer doing that specific emergency
Okay.
medical technician program
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the high school, but they have rejuvenated that, I can't remember the term that they use for their program, but like their CPI program
Yeah.
locally in State College. So there's opportunities that are going to be able to come
Okay.
about with those things. And I think the earlier we can get to individuals who are interested in the EMT program or the firefighting, the better. I started when I was 17 years old, like a couple years ago. So it's real important that we engage them early on, because once you get to the point where you're in college and you're engaging in your career, it's harder and harder to pull that extra time away.
I just had, one follow-up question. So I applaud the community outpouring, support for the EMS in Half Moon Township, but it's my understanding the township no longer has dedicated funds for EMS. Were there dedicated funds for that? You call them unencumbered funds, but that means you have to vote on it every year as opposed to having it be a line item?
We appropriated it, and it's not just Half Moon Township. It's also Worth, Houston, Taylor Townships, and Port Matilda Borough. All 5 of us represent the Upper Bald Half Moon COG. And we have been appropriating money every year. It's called a donation.
I'm sorry.
It's
what?
called a donation
Oh, okay.
to the Port Matilda EMS. There has never been a budget formally presented to the municipalities. This year that will happen. And I'm looking forward to working through the budget process with them and getting the appropriations. And we're working on a distribution formula right now, percentages for each of the 5 municipalities. Well, there's actually some involvement in Ferguson. We're talking to Ferguson about, or the EMS is talking to Ferguson about participation level, as well as Warriors Mark Township.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know that.
And there's sometimes it's a straight contribution, but the 5 municipalities, the primary municipalities representing the coverage area,
Yeah.
are going to be having a budget review at each of the municipalities and providing a budget appropriation
Yeah, that's
for
good to
the
hear.
coming year.
Yeah, and I know that Supervisor Hartle had suggested that formula. That
Well,
each
we
of the
have
municipalities
been
do
talking.
that. So that's a great
We've
thing.
been talking about the formula for quite a long time.
Yeah, that's
on the
great.
board. As Vice Chair of the Board of Supervisors at Half Moon, I can tell you that we've been discussing that for months.
Ron, could you do the five municipalities that you said?
Okay, it's Half Moon, Houston Township, Port Matilda Borough, Taylor Township, and Worth Township.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And I represent our township on that Upper Bald Eagle Half Moon COG.
No, okay.
So I'm deeply involved with this issue.
You?
Are there any other
Except for
comments or questions? Okay, next up is Facilities Committee. Do we have someone to report on? So I don't see Patty Hartle.
It was a joint meeting with Finance.
Okay, so we're going to forego that. Land Use and Community Infrastructure, Lucy.
In addition to what's in the agenda, I'll give you 3 metrics related to red cap, which we had talked about. There are 3,320 developable acres in the Center Region, has a residential capacity of 10,746 units, a non-residential capacity of 18,500,000 square feet. Put that in perspective, and interesting numbers with respect to Red Cap and what's available. Thank you, Ron.
Thank you. Climate Action Sustainability Committee. They did not meet, so we'll move on to Parks and Rec Governance Special Committee.
As Mr. Chair has indicated, we met our facilitator. We'll be meeting this coming Wednesday, and one of the big things that we'll be talking about is a retreat to further our efforts towards the parks governance.
Next up is Center Region Library Board.
There's nothing additional to add to it.
Thank you. Next up is Center Region Parks and Recreation Authority.
Kathy's not here, but I think Scott did a pretty good job of capturing everything. If there's any questions, Christie's on line.
Okay. Last up is Emergency Management Council.
Just listed in there, our next meeting's in June.
Okay. Next agenda item is other business. There are matters of record listed. Are there any that need to be called out at this time?
Just to point out for you to notice, item G about the PACOG, the Pennsylvania Association of COGS. That group we normally talk about in January when it's time to appoint a member to the Board of Delegates. The organization is being reorganized right now, so over the next few months there'll be new bylaws and such. And we held a very productive meeting in this room a few weeks ago, and I was selected to be one of the representatives to the new board for at least the next year or so as we transition to a new organizational structure. The Department of Economic Development from the state has offered quite a bit of technical and financial support. So more to come on that. I think it's going to be very helpful, and the organization will be stronger to reach out and support smaller COGs across the state. Thank you.
How many COGs are there across the state? Ballpark.
That's a good question.
I didn't mean to
There's
put you on the spot.
probably 60 or 70.
Okay.
Some are very small with no
Okay.
staff and just shared
Cool.
purchasing and that sort of thing. And Center Region Council of Governments is the largest, but we have the most services. So it's really hard when we do benchmarking to for us to benchmark. But we're constantly getting requests for information and provide tours. And in fact, we're helping a small group of municipalities get started in a shared operation for fire protection, and Sean's been a big help in consulting with that group. And they just received a grant from the DCED to help support their effort to get organized into a small COG for fire protection, and that may grow from there. So
Sounds good. Cool.
We help out where we can.
Great, thanks.
Okay, next is make note of the calendar and the link to the calendar, and also helpful reference links. I don't see anything else here, so I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Second? Second. All in favor, say aye. Meeting adjourned.